We are very, very blessed to have Dr. Ed Bauman, who will be presenting Weathering the Storms of Change. Dr. Bauman has been at the forefront of the holistic health and nutrition renaissance for the past 50 years. It's hard to tell because he's so young. You never know it's 50 years. He holds a Master of Education from the University of Massachusetts, a Master's in Science and Nutrition from Hartwood College, and a PhD in Community Health Promotion from University of New Mexico. And after studying traditional health and nutrition systems for more than 30 years, which forms the basis of his professional and community nutrition programs. He is the founder of Bauman College, healing foods, arts, and community learning. So with that, I will pass it on to Dr. B for our presentation.
So welcome, friends. It's good to see you. It's really special to be doing this and to be doing it together. I think that's really the theme of Bauman Wellness, is that we're a community of practice and of service. And it's open, it's diverse, it's inclusive, it's just, it's fun. We started our session with laughter yoga this morning to kick off our wellness week. And it was really great to be able to lighten up together. So it's good to see you guys, some of whom I haven't seen for years and some of whom I'm just meeting for the first time. But, I send love and blessings to you and all your family. So thank you for sharing. And the nature of the program will be, I'll go through some slides together, and it'll probably run about 45 minutes. And then you're certainly welcome to chat and comment. And then Christina, who's our hostess, will say, Dr. B, I've got a question or a comment for you, and I'm happy to respond on the spot or later in the program. And then after I go through the slides, I want to be with you again all together and discuss this all together. So it's not just a slideshow and a goodbye, but sharing some thoughts and feelings and pictures that are meaningful to me and will bring up impressions from you too. Yeah, the title I think is interesting for me in that we're going through a hard time, weathering a storm, but we are weathering it together. And it's really the premise that I hold, and I think a lot of us hold, that wellness is a key to resilience. So we're going to harvest wellness. We're going to bring wellness together. It's a fall season. And you see the photo, all at once, summer collapsed in the fall. Oscar Wilde. So, all of a sudden our society collapsed into pandemic. So what I want to go through for learning objectives is really to witness the old and the new normal. So really just look at what's going on around us and what's a vision of moving forward. And then to look at change by design or disaster. So change is happening. We can't stop change. We know that. But we have design and we can prevent disaster if we work together. And how wellness builds resistance. That's a key. Wellness, we're going to define wellness. We're going to look at how we practice wellness with 5 core wellness practices. So what we're seeing here is on the right, a nice picture of a stream and leaves and life and vitality. And then on the left, it's health hazards that are threats to well-being. And as Karen and Irema and others know, my model back in the day was the contributors of illness are health hazards: stress, toxins, trauma, malnutrition, addictive coping, socioeconomic injustice, and genetic adaptations. So we're going to look at some of these threats to our well-being as a sense of what we're all dealing with. So unfortunately, look at all that. That's fire and smoke. So all the elements are active right now. And we've had fires in Northern California, and there have been fires up and down the Northwest coast. And there's fires in many parts of the world right now, and even the violence that we see and witness is fire, is that people are firing at each other, and it's extraordinarily inflammatory. And then the smoke that is created from industrial burning is also very hazardous. I don't know about you, but my eyes have been burning the last several days, even the last several months. There's just an incredible amount of particulate in the air, which is irritating to us and causing us to have to respond. And then now we have floods and drought. So again, really, tragic floods on the East Coast and Louisiana once again, and all up and down the Southeast, and floods going on. And then at the same time, you see the image of droughts, and looking around where we are in Northern California, the trees are very hungry, the plants are very hungry, the ground is very parched. And this is, again, just a real contrast of excess imbalance of water and lack of water. And pollution, there's a lot of pollution. There's air pollution, land pollution, water pollution, and it's a cycle that really perpetuates. And then on top of that, we have electronic pollution with 5G towers. And we're not the ones asking for this. This is basically being put on us, and we're sold this. And it's really quite a threat to our well-being. And of course, there's the virus and the variants and the vaccines. So I think we're in this era now of pandemics and of infections, and it's just something we're going to have to live with and work with. And it's not going to be a surprise that there'll be a new variant, and we're coming into fall season and winter season. There will certainly be other viruses, be they corona or flu or others. So we're going to really talk throughout this week, the Wellness Week, about how to be resilient and healthy and well. And socioeconomic injustice, it's been going on for quite a long time. It's not a new thing. And it's getting worse on some levels. It's getting better on other levels. So Bauman Wellness is a community of inclusion and respect. So it's a joy to me to be with people from different backgrounds and different cultures and different socioeconomic levels. And people have kind of a solution about being together in community rather than arguing and fighting one another. And there's a shadow pandemic, which is violence against women. And most of us on this call are women, and we know that women have been abused and mistreated for way too long, and it's got to stop. So this pandemic, I think the media has made it all about the virus, but a pandemic means a global kind of illness pattern. And these things are all part of our global illness pattern that we're looking to reverse. So here's a little cartoon. Yeah, thank you for wearing a mask, says the guy on the street who's holding up the little old lady. She's thanking him for, providing COVID safety. And what we have is a system failure. So very often we point fingers at individuals. We don't like our politicians, or we don't like businesses and all this, but it's a global system failure. And it's not unique to the United States. It's not unique to Europe. It's worldwide. Is that we have kind of built a system based on materialism and based on certain people becoming extraordinarily powerful and wealthy, and other people being without. And that is changing, and it's natural order that things that don't work don't last, and things that are not sustainable will fall apart, and out of that will emerge something new and different and better. So we're part of that new and different and better. Cognitive dissonance to me is really interesting because it's argument. And The first cartoon is comforting lies, and there's lots of people lining up to, be told comforting lies. And then there's unpleasant truths, and there's nobody going to hear the unpleasant truth. And we're just at the highest level ever of distrust and fake news. So the question then is, well, how do you sort this out? And it's really thinking for ourselves. It's the independent investigation of truth and having thoughtful discussions with people of high value. Help. I need someone. Help. Not just anyone. Help. So it's 1964. And it's still, so true and so important is that medicine has really become very predominant. And in my mind, we're dealing with allorexia, which is a state of kind of dominant medical thinking in terms of problem solving of health. Just like we have anorexia, which is not eating, and orthorexia, which is correctness in nutritional views to an extreme. Allorexia is this extreme kind of medical management of life. So we're also looking at a global mental health crisis, and again, these problems are everywhere. This is what makes it a pandemic. Help, we need somebody. So let's get healthy now. Let's make a pivot. So if you all could just pivot in your seat or make a movement, a pivot, or a change or growth, is we're looking to go from crisis to opportunity. And this has been said in Chinese medicine, the symbol of crisis and opportunity are very similar. And Einstein, who seems to drop great quotes all the time, said, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. And next to that, we see this slide of different people from different backgrounds and cultures, all part of a unified group. And that little plant, that little green sprout, which is really a symbol of life coming through. So this is what we're looking at, is to move to collaboration and community. I think that's the key here. It's not an individual task or something that an individual can do together, but it's collaborating. And my whole life work has been integrating health and medicine and integrating education and science and integrating different points of view. So this slide is really kind of one of our themes, is going from illness to wellness to oneness. And another way Johan would express it, and others, is going from otherness to wellness to oneness. So this notion, we showed a beautiful film in our last Wellness Week, Me the Other, which was people, sorry for the background noise, but this is the world we live in. So somebody next to me is cutting their tree down. The world we live in. But the idea is that really illness is imbalance and damage, and wellness is healing. And that we see a cycle where if there's a lack of health, there's illness. And then as we deal with illness in an effective way, it will create wellness, which will reinforce health. So it's a very simple model there, but everything is interconnected. And then in this image next to it is, in each of us, there's a little bit of all of us. And we're seeing blue earth there. So I particularly like this image, that we know that we're one. We know that we're not only one with other humans, but with all of nature and all of life and all of creation, and that we just have to pull this together. And that's why we have community. Oops, go back. Oops. Let's see if I can go back. Maybe I won't go back. Anyway, there was a beautiful picture of the ocean there. And my suggestion was really to take 3 deep breaths together and state your affirmations. And as we all know, an affirmation is a positive statement in the present, that I am at peace. I am one. I am part of the solution. We are one. And it's great to have an affirmation. It's great to have a positive point of view. And not only just an individual point of view, but a collective point of view. So throughout this talk and throughout this Wellness Week, I want to focus on affirming our power and our possibilities, and that this is what we're going to be doing. So with the fall season, it's a great season. Things are changing. It's natural for things to change. It's even natural for there to be a dropping of leaves and a cooling and a dampening and a movement more inward. So what I want us to look at here, and you can read the slide, I'm not going to go over each of the points, is home, to make sure there's good light and that it's clean and that our home hygiene is good. And then with our body, clearly we have to love our body and take care of it, that we're eating seasonal foods that is nourishing. We're getting adequate vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients. We'll get into that. And then with emotions, that we're engaging in arts and crafts, that we're expressing ourselves, that we keep a journal. We have several health coaches on this session with us who help people to really process thoughts and feelings and communicate. And certainly to really attend to our spirit so that we're able to tune into our purpose and activate meaning. I'm sorry for the background noise. I'll have to work through it. And then, of course, in our mind is to plan and use our mind intelligently to create daily rituals that inspire us, and to meditate and be integrative of all these practices. So this is a slide I got from my colleague Don Jens. I like this image of a woman in a tree. And I think it's something that we can all appreciate, is just the mother principle, that from a spiritual perspective, plants can be viewed as the ultimate alliance of human beings in our ecosystems, and that plants detect gravity, light, magnetic field, pathogens, including viruses, and they tend to absorb them. They tend to neutralize them. There's just something about the nature of plant material and of the earth to contain some of the toxicity that we've rained upon it and to neutralize it. It's really quite remarkable. So let's say, what is wellness? It's a state of resilience, vitality, and joy. And then unity in the community is what community wellness is. So a wellness, for one, is not going to exist when there's an illness and suffering of brothers and sisters right next to us. So community wellness is where there's justice and equity, diversity and inclusion. These are valued and practiced. Resilience is gaining strength for managing unwanted change. That's a big statement. We get stronger when we manage unwanted change. It's vital to recovery and longevity, and policies, programs, and practices that promote resilience. So it's not just personal, it's not just family, it's not just social. Resilience is something that can become systematic and programmatic. This will have long-term positive effects on longevity and well-being, so that we can pivot from vulnerability, which is a state we're all in, to wellness for individuals, for workplaces and institutions. And there's a citation here from a gerontological journal from 2010 about the power of resilience. This is one of my favorite slides, is that the tools that are available to us and to everyone to weather the storms of change. And the access to these tools is what determines our resilience. Being in nature, eating vibrant food, being well hydrated, moving, mindfulness, good sleep, daily detox, herbs and spices and nutrients, art and music and play. peace and quiet, gratitude, and prayer and service. So take a look at this and see which of these tools you want to bring in your toolbox and put into practice today, and share with your friends and neighbors, and even people who are suffering, people who are ill, people who are under the weather, who are not navigating the storms of change well at the moment, but perhaps your connection with them will help them to progress. All of these are tools at our disposal. This is my latest model. So several of you know the Eating for Health model, which has been the basis of my work. This is a new model, 5 Bauman Wellness practices. Certainly Eating for Health is level 1 foundational, and we'll talk about what that is, and then moving. Not just exercise, but joyful movement. The feeling of being alive and being in our bodies and being outdoors or indoors and just moving joyfully and gracefully. And reflection through mindfulness practice throughout the day. And relating positively and soulfully to one another and even to people who have disputes with us. I think we want to be in relationship with people who have differing points of view, to be good listeners. And then finally is service, soulful service, which is what completes our cycle of wellness practice. And we can be in service daily. Each of these 5 practices individually have power, and we're implementing 2, 3, 4, all of them together. The power is exponential. When we do it as a community, we do it as a family, it's beyond exponential, it's collective and transformative. So please take a look at this model. You can use this image, you can share it, we'll make it available to you, but it's really the crux of wellness practice. Food wisdom, going through now each of these systems, these wellness practices. When the diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. And when the diet is right, medicine is of no need. So that's a very old school point of view from an Ayurvedic proverb. And I believe it. I live by this mantra, is that strong diet keeps us well. And even if we're exposed to viruses or to pollution or to all of these health hazards we looked at earlier, strong diet can keep us strong enough that we don't become seriously ill and we work through and weather the storms of change. The Eating for Health model. What a beautiful model. What a beautiful model. And at this point, I'm calling it now Eating for Health and Resilience, Eating for Health and Longevity, Eating for Health and Recovery, Eating for Health and Well-being. So we can see the various components of this model that provide macronutrients. We know what those are: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. Phytonutrients, which are plant alkaloids that lower inflammation and protect and heal us. So the plant nutrients are really the most potent of all of these, with fibers and fluids and ferments and microorganisms to create a healthy ecology within us and even support the ecology around us as we use good food on our soil and we create regenerative agriculture together. Joyful movement. Movement creates energy. So a lot of folks say, I don't have energy, I'm really beat up, I'm tired, I'm down, I'm depressed. But movement creates energy. Focus on the breath, the body, rhythm, and pace. Walk and dance and garden and bicycle and swim and play and massage. And let's exercise throughout the day. At home, outside, in the gym, at work, in your living room, take a walk. And this joyful movement will tonify us to build strength, endurance, and chi. I'm sure we all know what chi is, or most of us, it's energy and vitality, and we need to move and groove together. During Wellness Week, we've got some music, a musical jam tonight. We've got a wellness party next weekend, and we don't want to be alone. The pandemic has created an enormous amount of loneliness. Tomorrow, we'll talk about mental health and mental wellness. The benefits of exercise, and these are very well noted, that exercise reduces stress, it wards off anxiety and feelings of depression, raises endorphins, it boosts self-esteem, increases energy level, improves cognitive performance and creativity, boosts immunity, vitality, circulation, metabolic function. So I ask you, why do people not exercise or not move? We'll talk about that when we come out of this slideshow. Mindfulness practice. I like the acronym CALM down. And for me, calm is centered and living in the moment. We got to calm down. Oh, let's calm down. To observe and to listen. And this cools inflammation. We hear over and over again that inflammation is the driver of disease and hostilities. And so if we calm down and be mindful, we become aware. We notice, we're witnessing. That's what I said earlier. We're here to witness the old normal and the new normal. And do it non-judgmentally, accept it. And show loving kindness to all beings at all times. And that's tricky. If somebody's doing something hurtful, how can you show loving kindness? But we're trying to elevate them, to put them in touch with their heart and their soul, and that it'll help them to go through trauma, because people are traumatized and they're inflicting trauma on others. And mindfulness practice can be meditation, relaxation, reflection, contemplation, awareness. And that realizing that happiness is an inside job. We're not our circumstances. The guy was making noise outside, cutting the tree, but I'm just powering through it because I got to keep my vibe and I got to share it with you. So we're happy. And now that he stopped cutting the tree, I'm happy. So I can cultivate inner peace and integrity. And integrity is a key word for me because it's really strength and connectivity. And we don't see much integrity in our world today. And we don't see integrity in people who are ill, that they're really disintegrating. And our world is disintegrating. And our new normal is integrity-based. And we can mandate mindfulness. Now, that's powerful, okay? In your home, you go, we're mindful here. We take time together to reflect. We take time together to consult. We take a time out here together. We're aware of each other. We're aware of our situation. And we can mandate mindfulness at work. It doesn't cost anything. It's the greatest thing. It's totally free. And when someone is unmindful, which happens all the time, we can remind them, hey, wake up. That's a very unmindful or hurtful or disrespectful or negative point of view. Can we reframe that and replay that and approach it from a more mindful point of view where we're aware, we're non-judgmental, and we're showing love and kindness? So when we understand this and we practice it throughout the day, even in our sleep, we can be mindful in our dreams that we're lost. I'm always lost in my dreams, but then I wake up and I'm found. So I think this is important that we call this into play because it's good. So mindfulness modulates immunity. It is the premier coping practice. It reduces stress hormones that suppress immune function. Yoga, stretching significantly increase salivary antimicrobial products, helping to prevent infection. That's a big deal. I'll have a COVID panel tomorrow where we'll discuss the various mechanisms of immune modulation. And it's the salivary IgA that's the first level of response to a foreign material or a foreign genetic material or a virus. And yoga and mindfulness support that IgA function. So there's a reference down below. I don't see it right here, but that 30 minutes a day of yoga, meditation, music, and nature, some combination thereof, has profound effects on modulating immunity. Healing relationship. I think this is a biggie because our values attract or separate us. Think about that. What do you value? Do you value kindness? Do you value compassion, strength, money, whatever? And that's what brings us together or separates us. So let's choose friends with positive emotional IQ. Christina will be sharing social emotional learning with us throughout the week, and we're going to talk about some relational work based on values, both with couples and at work. I think we can agree we're all wounded, and the world is wounded, and the earth is wounded. So that's not news. Even the people who are in power are wounded. Even the people who have all the money in the world are wounded. So it's not like any one of us gets out of this without a certain amount of suffering. But kindness and love is what heals. And kindness and love is something we can give even when we're not well. So the difference between health and wellness to me is health is you're all full of energy and vitality, and you're jumping for joy. And wellness is a state of resilience, adaptation, and kindness. They're not exclusive by any means, but one can become well by understanding and accepting their own reality, and then start to move together individually and with others to make wellness a reality. I call it the pursuit of life, liberty, and well-being. So a new Declaration of Independence is we all need the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of well-being. We don't want that to be taken from us because it really can't. Happiness is an inside job. So a key to this is practicing listening to connect, to show respect, to build tolerance, to problem solve, and to harmonize and to unify. That's the key to this whole game and healing relationships. So laughter and immunity. We had a cool laughter yoga program to kick off the day. And laughter increases oxygen to the hearts, the lungs, and the muscles. It triggers the relief of endorphins. And what Nita said is the laughter can be somewhat contrived. It doesn't have to be, oh, that's really funny. And it certainly is not laughing at other people's problems or making fun of people, but just that giggly, laughing, silly, childlike, joyful expression is something that we can call forth. It's with us, just like mindfulness. It's a higher expression of this kind of light joie de vivre. And laughter eases tension, relaxes muscles, and lowers blood pressure. And it increases immunity and infection-fighting antibodies. How many doctors have said, well, let's fight the pandemic with laughter. Let's fight the pandemic with food. Let's fight the pandemic with integrated health practices. They don't seem to say that. There's no money in that. It's somewhat about the power. And again, it improves our resistance to disease. So being joyful and being with joyful people and expressing it is really a practice for us. I don't know if you've heard this term, social genomics. It's an interesting term. And its social stress is a stronger predictor of chronic disease-related mortality, that means death, than physical inactivity, alcohol use, and smoking. Whoa, social stress. You get those bad Facebook posts, or somebody kind of disses you, or you're alone and whatnot. Social stress is a bigger predictor of disease, predictor mortality, because suicide is elevating, it's skyrocketing, it's off the charts. And that's because the outside world is so horrible and people have not cultivated an inside world. So we're teaching ourselves and others about how to build health from within. Service with a smile. Service is embodied spirituality. We can be spiritual, we can pray, we can love, we can send out good vibes, but service is actually helping people. Service is connecting with people in need. And most of us are blessed that we're not in terrible need. And so, well, what can we do to help? And no act of kindness is wasted. So I think, you know, there's another phrase that no act of kindness goes unpunished. But I'm changing that. I'm not buying that joke, because again, kindness is our creation to God and Creator, and that's why we're here, is to be kind. And collaborative service builds community. So Bauman Wellness is a community of practice. We're practicing wellness, and service, we're sharing it with others who might be in need, who are in need. And prayer is very powerful. Prayer is the most powerful tool for well-being. More powerful than food, more powerful than exercise. It's the most powerful. And you go, whoa, how do we know that? Well, people who pray can tell you it's true. People who don't pray don't know, because they don't pray, or they don't know how to pray, or they have attitude around religion and so forth. But prayer is really having a personal conversation with Creator, and honoring Creator, and honoring higher power, and honoring being in life, and that we're here to support and bring some type of heaven on earth in our lifetime. So prayer and prayer together is also very powerful. Service is the 12th step. So for those people who go through a recovery program, the final step is to give back and help others, to be a sponsor. And I'll say unconditional love is the 13th step. So that's how we roll. Unconditional love is part of our service. Hopi prophecy. Big change coming. When the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth, from many colors, creeds, and classes, who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They shall be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Well, is that you? Is that me? Is that us? Heck yeah. So I'm going to say that again. This is Hopi prophecy. This has been something from way back when, and it's being carried by our Native people, which is why we honor and revere our Native people. And we're going to bring forth celebration of that on the equinox on Wednesday at the Bauman College in Berkeley, the Bauman Wellness and Bauman College. When the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come to the earth from many colors, creeds, and classes, who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They shall be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Well, and finally, there's no place like home. So if you click your heels and you go, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. And home is where the heart is. And what we see in the other image as nature reborn. We see the sky, we see the sun, we see the plants. So there you are. That's our show. I'm going to unshare my screen now. I guess I'll go a little further. We do have some wonderful programs. Affordable nutrition, Brighten Up to heal anxiety and depression and insomnia. Kids Culinary Academy, Nutrition Essentials for Everyone, Resilience and Recovery. So these are programs available to you as individual, and also available to your company or your group or organization. That's what we're doing right now. Stay in touch. Bauman Wellness. Join the community. If you're not already in the community, this is how we do it. This is what holds us together. And we also have a code of conduct. It's pretty important. I do not need people or want people in a community who have bad manners, who misbehave, who are dumping a lot of adversity and negativity. Okay, that's not why we're here. We're here to coalesce wellness and to learn together and grow together. So be happy to join us. Love to see you there. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're back in gallery mode. If you would unmute your video, I'd like to get some reaction and response.
What attracted you to this Wellness Week? Was it really mainly for your personal, or are you involved in some community work?
Hi, I'm a former student, and I really just wanted to see what you were up to. I'm such a big fan.
Good.
And so happy that you're engaging more in the community and helping out at that level. Keep up the good work.
Well, let's do it together, okay?
Yeah.
I have been in and out of community with Bauman. I'm a former student as well. And I just love the wholesome environment here for wellness that you are fostering, and I think this is a treasure for everybody to even take one point here and take it home and take it in practice. There's so many interesting aspects to wellness here that, wow, I'm very, very excited that I joined. I currently work as a chef for a nonprofit in the Tri-Valley area. Our kitchen is in Pleasanton. It's called Culinary Angels, and we make nourishing meals free of charge for people who are going through serious health challenges like cancer.
Good.
And we also cater to the caretakers. We want to revamp our nutrition education program. So these kinds of things are the conversations that we want to have within our team in rippling out into the community. I am just super pumped. So thank you.
Nice. But let's follow up, because this is a meeting, and then there's always, what do we do next? How do we work together?
I'm Vanessa Blackwell. I was a student of Ed's 9 years ago. I'm in the corporate world now, and I had a very busy year. And I decided to take a break and drive up to Canada to visit my sister, and we're working through some family business up here. So when I got this invitation to join, I was super excited, and it's always comforting to hear the things that you're shedding some light on.
So you mentioned, one of the things may be interested in your reflections, because we're definitely looking to expand the definition of wellness to include not only the individual, but the community, the institutions, and the planet. And so certainly, as you said, you were in the workplace, be interested in terms of your workplace experience. We know there's traditional workplace wellness programs, meditation, yoga, mindfulness. And I'm just curious, either in your organizations or other organizations, how can you see what Bauman Wellness is trying to do, how that can improve workplace wellness, if any?
And I've always worked with startups, so there's a lot of chaos. A wellness program would be super helpful in a startup situation, because people lose track of themselves. They're working so hard to start something. On the bench, there's an empty bench, and they're building something from scratch, and our personal needs seem to get sidelined.
And I think it's challenging for people in that very hard-driven entrepreneurial startup environment to traditionally, they're not looking for balance. They're looking to really focus and accelerate and scale and really be focused and just go all in. So it's interesting how you even talk about wellness or balance within the context which they're totally driven to achieve something in a very short time, which is a challenge.
No, it's a very dynamic situation, super creative, takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of sustained personal power, and it's very easy to get burnt out. And because I was a student of Ed so long ago, I do make a practice of taking a break when I'm exhausted.
I came to Bauman College as a student, in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And quickly decided that I wanted to be part of Bauman College for many years to come. So I started to work for the school, and I ended up working for the school for about 25 years. So when, the opportunity of Bauman Wellness Week came forth, I just wanted to see, I'm just always loved the teachings. I always love to see the new, the new things that you put into the basis of what we all live by, which is eating for health and wellness in general. So I'm a graduate of the nutrition consultant program, and more recently a graduate of the health coaching program.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm currently working on. Is I'm a health coach, and I, with everything that has been going on for the last few years, I'm constantly hearing about people who are struggling with different, wellness, parts of wellness, including, oh, I put on my, COVID weight, or or a lot of mental health, things, and just kind of, yeah. So I've been working with that a lot. So I wanted to come and glean more information, as much information as I could.
Can you believe that it's possible that we're going to change this mess?
I want to believe that it's possible.
Yeah. Well, you have to, otherwise you give up, right?
Right.
So the thing is for people who still have some kind of strength of being, it's like, let's do this thing and let's build some consensus, and then this will filter up. And then also, let's share this with the people at the top.
Right.
Because they're people too, and they're suffering too.
If you haven't already joined BaumanWellness.co, when you remember that all the presentation decks from all the sessions will be available for those members.
So thanks, friends. Let's have lunch. It's good to be together, and we'll do it again. Keep coming back. Take care. Be well.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.